So those four angels that communicated with you then while you were writing, and they were just downloading their responses to you.
Yeah.
So we had Angie and George, Frederica and Newton. But each of them had, I suppose, something different to share with you.
Yeah.
And so were you aware of did they come with a different energy? Were you aware of that as you were writing?
Yes, definitely. Yes, they definitely come with a different energy. George especially is very vocal, and I could almost hear him. I mean, he's quite a chatty, outspoken soul, and so yeah, I definitely, George is very strong, and Angie's very gentle. And so they each have their own energy, so to speak, when they come in or connect with me. And aside from writing, I do see them or hear them sometimes, and I do ask them sometimes questions. And so I'm getting more comfortable with visualizing them. It's not always, it's not always a visual in terms of a body or something. It's sort of like an energy, or it's sort of more like who they are that I'm connecting with, that I see. And I, in the book, I do talk about a visualization for them all, and that's how I saw them when I was writing, because I actually asked to see them and so they presented an image for me, because it's usually, we're used to seeing things, and so that was what I did for that. But now I don't necessarily need to see them, because I can feel the energy. I can feel their energy. It's a little bit like, I can give an example of, I don't know if this is the right time to say this, but when I was in Iowa, just to give you an idea of how something can be in your head and it's not you. That's the thing, you can say, well, that's just what you're thinking. But actually, you can tell the difference between your thoughts and other transmissions. For example, years ago when I was still living in Iowa, I went to visit friends, and I had a long hour drive back. And while I was at my friend's place, they had people I'd never met before come and visit, and one of them massaged my shoulders. I'm not, that comfortable with things like that, depending on the people, and especially if I don't know them. But anyway, I went home, and on the way home, it was a long, lonely country road, dark at night for an hour in Iowa. And so I started having these thoughts, and they weren't very nice thoughts. They were very fear-orientated, very strange thoughts. And I'm thinking, wow. And suddenly it was like, they're not my thoughts. And so I said, okay, let's see if this is me or not. I said, if you aren't for the highest and the best for all, leave now. Bingo, gone. And so I could actually tell at that time the difference in the energy and the thoughts and of that entity that had attached itself to me while I was at my friend's place. And that phrase, for the good of all, is something I learnt from my feng shui master, Louis Audette, who's since unfortunately retired. But anyway, I learned that phrase, and I think it's really important. And that night I decided it was very important because everything is an agreement.